created me, part of that world. Is that even? Yep. Yeah. Can I sing? Not sure if I can sing if I have slime in my heart. But I can try just to see how that sounds like. If I guess I should watch some YouTube videos of some actors probably on how they wash off the character once they're done with it, because I think I will need it. I'm feeling a strong sense of disgust towards what I have created. But this is not what I'm gonna talk about initially. So please pardon the blending of the projects. Apparently it's something that requires more sanity. Because I have this, that I don't have this character in my head that I don't like, but I have this branch of me that I'm very fond of. The absurd chicken is also a branch of me, and I like it. I'm gonna speak about this thing that I saw on the internet. In Instagram, there's this take about children. Basically, the person being interviewed expressed how children must not be allowed in weddings. And she still went on with some other things. I forgot exactly, and I forgot the other things where she doesn't want children to be involved in. And I must admit, I can find some kind of, I agree with that sentiment, sort of feeling while I was watching the video. And then I went to the comment section, and one of the things that I saw there was, this sounds very individualistic, typical individualistic Western culture. He said, she, or I'm not sure what person that is. And one of the things, another thing that kind of relates to the previous comment that I read was, well, this is totally a Western thing, because in the East, children are well blended in the events, for example. And the person is right. In Philippines, for example, weddings are low-key family reunions. Or if not, they are family reunions. Everyone is invited, no matter if you're 90 or 2 or just freshly out of your mother's body. You are gonna be there. In my mother's side, at least, or well, maybe times have changed now since resources are more scarce. But back then, when I was younger, everyone was invited, even the neighbors. The neighbors are there also. And it was such a festive, I can recall this the atmosphere, it was so festive, and people are just people are so happy. There's a lot of food, really. Uh, and the food, they are given away after after the reception. Everyone gets a take home for themselves. And it was it was so I really enjoyed it. I may not have actively shown evidences that I am having fun, but I am having fun just seeing all these and people speaking to each other. And yeah, the kids, they are meeting the other children of the in the family tree, in their generation. The uncles are somewhere, they have their round table and they're drinking, and the aunties are like, well, and there's always a banter between the aunties and the uncles. And it was this for everyone. And people are happy to share. And yeah, it's because now I'm having blocks in my thinking, because I also have the Western sort of point of view on it, that, well, that's too much, sort of creeping in the Eastern sort of sharing of joy, because it is joyful, even though it can be expensive because you have to feed a lot of people. But at the end of the day, you're you're at least the way I see it when I was younger, they don't mind. The celebrants and the families of the people who got married, they chip in on it. And also, not only the parents of the newlyweds, but also the extended families, they give something. And it was a community thing. It's Now that I'm speaking about it, I it's one of the things I miss, I guess. Because even though I get shy a lot, I like attending these things. I'm a bit uncomfortable, yes, but then when I see other people, they are laughing and eating, and then we always make fun of those people who my mom and I. The celebration is not yet even over, and some people some people are taking taking they have this clear plastic bag, and they are taking on the where the food was, and they pack it in this yeah, it now that I am thinking about it, yeah, and the kids were there, even though, and it was also very comical, because of course the parents will be like, "Shh, shh," that kind of, because that's when, when you're not supposed to do something, you will hear a sharp "Shh." That's when you know, as a kid, that, oh no, I don't want to know what's coming next. And they're running around, and sometimes they are in the streets, and doing kid things. And yeah, the commenter was right. The desire to get rid of the kids in events or functions is is more of a Western thing. It's like in the East, it's like the commenter said also, children are integrated, at least when I was there. But now, I guess it has changed because of these smartphones. Everyone is looking on it, and it causes this further division on the, not only among children themselves, but also between parents and children. Because that's also one thing I have noticed when I came back after, I guess, 5 years of being away. Everyone was on their phones. And when I was in there, it wasn't a thing yet. This technology, it wasn't a thing yet. So in a way, I was culture shocked by this in my own country. And the kids, they have phones as well. But at least there were still some kids who are playing on the streets. You can still hear them. But yeah, it's just this rift. I hope I'm using the proper word, between not only the members of your own generations, but also in general. It's just this. And that commenter kind of gave me, in the Philippines, we call it mag-asawang sampal, which translates to the married slap, because it goes like this. That commenter gave me that. It's like a wake-up sort of married slap, because it pushed me in that what have happened to you kind of question. Because I previously was agreeing, I didn't agree 100%, but in some of her some of the things she said, I was like, yes, that sounds less stressful for the other people in the. But then this commenter, yeah, she is right. It's increasing the division between generations. Now that I'm thinking about it, she didn't say it that way, but she's like, yeah, like what I said earlier, that it's very individualistic sort of, and now a lot of things are going on in my head. It triggered a lot of things, including, yeah, like what I just said, it increases the gap between the parents and the children. And then for some reason, the retirement homes now make sense to me, because when at least in here, when someone is a kid, they get sent to the Barnehage or the Paibakoti or the daycare, because the parents are working. So they don't really build that kind of special something that makes you want to take care of your parents when they get older. So now, when these kids grow up and get older, well, they'll do the same thing to the parents. They send them somewhere. That's at least how I piece the puzzles together. Because in the Philippines, when you have children, at least one of the parents, they have to be home. But then this also, I understand, again, there's there's always a bigger picture to things. There's always a bigger picture. Of course, it makes sense that parents would want to work, both of them, because more resources, the more they can give to the kids or to themselves. But then, every time I'm discussing things, I feel like I'm pulling bubble gum out of my hair. Because there's always, like you see, the hair is connected to the head, which is the bigger picture, and the bubble gum is maybe somewhere here. So there's always a bigger picture to things. In that sense, I understand both the parents and the kids, and that's also why we are a third world country, because instead of it, not only the reason, not the only reason, but one of the reasons, I guess, because of the community mindset and the there's so much things that when I pull one thing, it's not possible to just pull one strand of hair. The entire head goes along with it. And at the end of the day, there is something that has to be acted upon in the whole way of how society is constructed, or the way society operates. In general, it should operate in a more kid-friendly way, I guess. The entire society. And not just the parents, because that's just a very small puzzle piece. But they take all the heat because they are the parents. They should be raising their children properly. But then they are also tied to the system. You see, that's why it's hard to hate on the parents as well, because when you grow up, you can see now better. You have a wider, because they have to work. If they don't work, what happens to the kids as well? So you can see it's